If you have been watching the channel for some time now, you may be quite familiar with this surrounding. So this week's video is something a bit different, something I don't normally do and something I thought I would try out for the first time. So instead I'm here in the French Alps, a place notorious for cycling and skiing, not so much football, but today that's what I'm here for. I'm here to watch FC Annecy, a team that is placed in one of the most beautiful places in all of Europe. Annecy is a town in eastern France, right on the edge of the French Alps. It sits close on the Swiss border, which gives it a really unique mix of Alpine and French culture. The town is best known for, well, what you can see in these videos, the lake, which is often described as one of the cleanest lakes in Europe. The water is incredibly clear, with deep blue and turquoise tones, especially on sunny days. The lake is surrounded by mountains, so wherever you look, there's a sense of calm. Annecy itself is a bit historic and lively at the same time. The old town is full of canals, a bit like Venice, and has lots of narrow streets and pastel coloured buildings. That's why it's often called the Venice of the Alps. You'll see small bridges, cafes along the water, and markets that bring the town to life. Despite its postcard look, Annecy isn't just a tourist town. People live here, they work here, and spend a lot of time outdoors. Between the lake, the mountains, and the town itself, everything feels connected. It's a place that feels calm but never quiet, and the balance is what makes Annecy so special. But I'm not here to speak about how incredible and beautiful this place is. I'm here to speak about sport, so let's get back into the video. The club currently sit 10th in Ligue 2, the second division of France, and in 2023 they even got to the Coupe de France semi-final. In the game that I'm here for tonight, they are playing Le Mans FC, owned by Novak Djokovic, Kevin Magnussen and Felipe Massa. The kickoff was at 8 PM French time, so 9 o'clock in the UK, and to say it was cold would definitely be an understatement, as it was absolutely freezing. But we only arrived at the stadium 15 minutes before kickoff, so instead of getting some food then, we decided to at half time instead, which you will see later on in the video. But me and my brother did get a shirt each from the club shop and met 3 of the players as well. But now it is time for kickoff. The players were, well, as warm as they could possibly be in the Baltic temperatures in the Alps, and I was ready to experience my first ever match in France after playing with this team so much on FIFA. It's safe to say I wasn't expecting many away fans, but the fact that these 20, yes I could count them individually, made their way to Annecy for this game, bearing in mind it's a 1400km round trip, I was thoroughly impressed and fair play to them. Lucky for us as well, we were sat right near the Annecy Ultras, so we had a drum going all game, which brought us a lot of entertainment. As things got underway in the first half, all seemed pretty even between the two sides, and there didn't really seem to be anyone looking likely to break the deadlock. Luckily for us, despite there being no goals, we did have the fans around us chanting throughout the game. And for this section of the video, you might be intrigued why I focused on this player. Well, this is Tristan Rowe, a player from the Aston Villa Youth Academy, so it was quite interesting to see an Englishman play in the second division of France. Unfortunately, as the first half went on, it looked like neither side were going to break the deadlock, and no clear-cut chances were really made, until Le Mans got a penalty, which the Le Mans player converted rather calmly, and he went to celebrate with his 20 fans cheering him on. Look at them, they're all absolutely ecstatic. And with around 10 minutes to go before half time, it really wasn't looking good for Annecy. There were still not really many more chances, and at this point it was just a game of who could kick each other harder, which was aggravating the home fans quite a lot. So let's go back to live me and see what I had to say at half time. So, ladies and gentlemen, so far it hasn't been going FC Annecy's way whatsoever. They currently trail 1-0 down to Le Mans FC at half time, so hopefully in the second half the team by the lake can turn up. Wow, what a great level of insight. Cheers for that, Ollie. Well, at this point it's safe to say I was probably just hungry and wanted a beer, so we took our food back into the stands. But while we were getting our food, we didn't see Annecy score their only goal in the game, which was rather frustrating. This was then followed by Le Mans scoring again, which the Annecy players were infuriated about as they thought that there should have been an offside call. The players and fans were moaning in unison, but with no VAR at this level of football, it didn't matter and the goal stood, meaning that Le Mans led 2-1. But the spirits in the stands were still high and that drum was still going. I think it was playing in my ears all night, even once we got home from the game. As the temperatures dropped even more, the level of football did as well. There was plenty more kicking, diving, shoving, and absolutely abysmal refereeing decisions. The temperatures were metaphorically rising within the home fans. I wish they were rising at the stadium, as by this point I was absolutely frozen. And with 5 minutes left to go in the game, Annecy looked the team on top and they were really pushing to get an equalising goal. But it didn't come. They had a few chances, but no clear-cut ones. And there were arguments continuing on the pitch between the players as the referee continued to make absolutely awful decisions. Temperatures continued to flare throughout the final stages of the game, but no goals were scored. Corner after corner seemed to be put in by Annecy, but they still could not find a way through. The challenges continued to get a bit more hefty and a lot of fouls were given for both sides, but mainly for Le Mans, who were trying to run down the clock by jumping around on the floor. As you can see in this video, the home fans were not very happy about it. And this was pretty much the final moment of the game. As some of the fans walked out the stadium, the players went to go and, I would say, shake hands, but from this footage that I captured after the game, it seemed like they were more likely to be throwing punches at each other, as it all seemed to kick off on the touchline as the Annecy players surrounded the referee. But everyone here seemed to get involved, and it turned into absolute chaos as the players seemed to be fighting each other, grabbing each other by the shirts, and all the staff were getting involved as well. The whistles were deafening around the stadium too, which made it all the more enjoyable to be there as a bit of a neutral fan. This kind of epitomised what the entire game was like. It was some entertaining parts to the football, but the quality wasn't great, and it seemed like the ref was very whistle happy. So it caused this to boil over at the end of the game, and as you can see, the official didn't really seem to have any control as they just stood there watching the brawl take place. So before we have to hear what I have to say after the game and after this massive brawl, I'll just let you enjoy it as it all kicks off.
As the players walk off behind me, the full-time whistle has just gone at the Parc and Annecy unfortunately lost 2-1. It all started kicking off at full-time as well, and both sets of players started to throw their punches. But unfortunately, a loss for Annecy doesn't promote them any further in the league so far this season, and with only one game remaining before the Christmas break, it doesn't look good from the side by the lake.
For almost a decade now, I've been going to Annecy on holiday almost every year, which I'm very fortunate to be doing. It is honestly one of the most beautiful places in the world. Whether you want to go swimming, skiing, or even cycling, there is everything there for you to do. The snowy, freezing temperatures in the winter and the sun and warmth in the summer, it is such a versatile place and you can do anything you want around the lake. But it's only been in the past few years that me and my family have realised that Annecy actually have a football team. We went to their stadium a few years ago just to have a look around and see what it was like. And being a Brighton fan, it looked exactly like the old Withdean Stadium we used to play in. So when the opportunity came and I could eventually go and see them play in person, I couldn't turn down the offer. Me, my mum and my brother all went to the game. Unfortunately, we didn't see a win, but the atmosphere and vibe was absolutely incredible. No, I didn't understand any of the chants or anything that anyone around me was saying, which is probably bad on my part. But regardless, the enjoyment factor was out of this world. As mentioned before, being a Brighton fan is, well, quite glamorous now. Not that it used to be. I mean, whenever I speak to my mum about what Brighton used to be like in the 80s and 90s, it sounds like hell. But I'm very, very privileged that Brighton now play in the Premier League in one of the most modern stadiums in European football. So, to go and experience a game in the second division of France, which I'll probably equate to probably about League 2 football in the UK, it was a totally new experience for me. Okay, the stadium wasn't packed to the rafters, but there was one thing that was key about going to this game for me, and that was that I understood that the community and the club felt so connected. Nothing really felt overpriced, and there weren't tourists, maybe except from ourselves, at the stadium either. It was all fans from the region supporting their local team. It was truly an incredible experience, and if you haven't done this kind of thing before, I would thoroughly encourage you to go. Okay, it may not have been the best quality of football, but the enjoyment factor was off the charts. So that will be all for today. If you have enjoyed this very different style of video that I've done, please let me know and I might do some more of these in the future and go to some maybe local games around my area. So if you do like what you see on the channel and want to see more, please subscribe. Leave a like on the video as well, as that would mean a lot to me, and leave any comments on games that maybe you have been to that have been more enjoyable than those at the top level. But for today's video, that will be all.